The game is mine. The game is mine. The game is mine.
Right now, like I said at the onset of the show, we got a real esteemed guest with us tonight from the Ginn Academy. I got teacher extraordinaire, Coach BoBo right here.
What's up? What's up? Glad to
What's
be
up,
here.
Darrell? How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Man, you look good, man.
Well, I'm trying. You look pretty good yourself,
Thank you,
too.
man.
Yeah.
It must be your athletic background coming up in the prestigious Glenville community. Does that have anything to do with it?
Well, definitely. Glenville is in me. You know, it's a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of my whole being. I was just telling the young men I was born at Glenville High School. My mother had me while she
Wait a
was
minute,
born.
literally?
Literally.
What you know about that?
All right.
Coach BoBo essence is in the hallways for sure.
Exactly. So, you know, my mother was graduating in the year of 1974. And
From Glenville?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I was born in 1974. So,
Did she ever tell you about the history of the school coming up?
you know what? She definitely did.
What were some of the things she would tell you?
The band.
The band, that's what it was known
The
for.
band was always a big deal. And as I said before, the camaraderie, the family. So much so that, as I was telling these young men, Ted Ginn Sr. is my godfather. So he actually graduated in the same year that my mother and my aunt graduated. And then my father graduated the year before them. So this was all predestined before, 2007 when the school was open. But that's what Glenville means to me. You know, I've been in this area all my life. I was born on Elk. We moved to Eddy Road. Then we ended up on 130th in Arlington. And now we're here. I'm staying right here on Pierpont, right up 105 in St. Clair. So my mother was always on me and basically telling me it's not where you live, but it's how you live.
That's a virtue that parents, in the communities that we come from, that's what they're all about. And it's truth to that. Yeah. It's not always, my lips is twisting over my tongue tonight, but it's not always where you live, it's how you live, I got that rude awakening moving into the projects when I was about 8 years old, Coach BoBo. Yeah. My mother told me the same thing, but that didn't fly with me back then. It didn't fly with me, but it ended up working out.
Well, I guarantee you that living in the projects, you all had a clean house.
Yes.
Your clothes were clean.
Yeah.
I can remember, I skipped a spot. We lived on Darrell when my mother and I were first starting out. We lived on the 3rd floor. So it was like an efficiency. We didn't have a washing machine. My mother washed my clothes in the tub. And I was always clean going to school. You would never know that we didn't have the big time amenities that everybody else had because of the work ethic that she had, which of course she got from my grandmother,
Did you feel proud going to school, knowing the history of the school, knowing they had a great band, your mom and your dad went there, you said your godfather, so learning about the school and then attending, did you have this type of civic community pride with you?
For sure, but it was always, it's my turn.
It's your turn. That's the attitude you had.
Sure, when I had guys like Lynn Poe, who graduated in 85, I think. He played linebacker, but he lived in my neighborhood, and his mom still to this day always showed me love. I ate over the house. I sat on the porch, but it was always something to go to practice with him. And Brian Keith Wall, who was the tailback who graduated from Glenville in 87. So it was basically like the baton was being handed.
Yeah.
And so, they graduated while I was in the 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
What was Glenville a storied program as far as its sports curriculum at the time?
You know what? It was more so just a good school. We've always
like an educational good atmosphere.
Yeah, but good atmosphere. Glenville has always been the high class poor people.
Some of y'all might take exception to that, but I think it's some truth to that.
No, well, me being one of them, I understand. We were going to look good, we were going to feel good, we were going to eat good.
No matter what.
Right, and that was a testimony to what our parents were doing at home. Many of us, we talking 80s, 90s, most of us were brought up by our grandparents, you know. So, you know, Grand made sure. You know, my grandmother's 85 years old right now, you know, and she made sure that I had the Jordans. You know, that reminds me of a story where the first Jordans came out, and we used to live on Eddie Road. We had this long stairway, kind of like that right there. And she said, well, if you sweep the stairs, then, you know, I give you half on the Jordans.
Okay, you got to make up the other half.
Exactly, you know, but in turn, I ended up doing something else. And she gave me the other half, which, if you could add, she gave me all of it.
Yeah.
You know, but it was establishing a work ethic, but it was also in the same token, her spoiling me.
Yeah.
You know, but it was that carrot that was being dangled in front of me that said, if you do what you're supposed to do, I'll look out for you.
Now, you were academically, but also you played sports, of course. And were you any good?
I was just telling these guys, we had a whole conversation before you came down. I truly believe that if you are good, somebody else will say it.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have to toot my own horn.
Okay.
You know, but.
So Coach BoBo saying once I talk to a few more guys
Yeah.
I'm going to get the whole story. So I'm going to have to go to the head banana. I'm going to have to go to the HNIC, Mr. Ted Ginn Sr. again,
Right.
and find out.
Yeah, and then go to some guys from Collinwood and John Hay.
Okay.
You know, you only are.
So when did the Glenville program start to take shape as a powerhouse, especially in football?
That was right around 97. And
Long after you played.
Right, but I was a coach.
You were a coach.
97
then.
was my first year out of college.
Hold on, Coach BoBo. What was your first year coaching at Glenville?
My first year coaching was, well, technically I volunteer coached while I was in college. So I volunteer coach with Coach Hubbard, you know, rest in peace, great coach. He was my coach. That was football. And then I also volunteer coach for Coach J, rest in peace, volunteer basketball. So they kept me around. You know, I graduated from Cleveland State. So when I went to need letters of recommendation, Coach J wrote my letter of recommendation. And I remember one line, he said, if you don't get this guy, then something is wrong with you. You know, and anybody know Coach J, that's how he talks. You know, but him being the health and gym teacher at Glenville at the time and then the head basketball coach for years, it carried a lot of weight. So I was around, you know, as I graduated, there was no being in the streets. So I went away to Youngstown State on a partial football scholarship that first year.
To play?
To play. But then I soon decided that football was not what I wanted to do.
Why? Because you played in a high school and you were pretty good at it from what it seems. Why change once you got in college?
You know what? I had been playing sports since 5, 6 years old, and I just thought it was time for a change. The practices and everything were definitely demanding, and I felt like I could live a better life going to school, having a job.
When you say live a better life, means staying healthy?
Yeah, that too, but now I left something out. I had my first kid when I was a senior in high school.
Well, yeah, that would kind of change your plans too.
Right, and I'll say, you know, kudos to my wife. I never had a baby mama. So had I wanted to play football flat out, the support was there.
Hold on, Coach BoBo. So are you telling me you're one of those guys, you had these dreams, and your dreams may have been deferred by having a child?
No.
At the time?
No, definitely not. My dreams were murky. You know,
meaning you really didn't have no vision?
Everybody wanted to play sports to get out of their situation. My situation wasn't that bad. I got a great family. You know, I had a great church family. I've been going to Historic Greater Friendship Baptist Church since 90.
Yeah.
So I don't have that horror story.
Right.
It was just one day when
everybody ain't running around with the Glock 45
exactly
and a half a pound.
Exactly. But
ain't nothing wrong with that either. We just saying everybody ain't.
For sure, because I have friends that did those types of things, you know, and luckily I was able to camouflage myself to a point where I didn't have to do those types of things, you know. Right. But to get back to what I was saying, as I was at Youngstown State for that 1 year, I completely missed that first year of my child's life. And so when I left in late June, early July, my child was a couple months. When I came back for Thanksgiving, it was a completely different person.
So that made you sit down and reflect and realize that you have to spend more time.
For sure, for sure. Now that was just one aspect. Let's be honest, there was some homesickness there, you know, and I will say that
With your seed?
just being away from home, period.
Okay,
of course, with my seed for sure, but just
Your wife, being away from your wife,
my family,
your family.
my mother, my father, you know, they were so good that they made it so comfortable that it was like, you know, you kind of, I actually felt my stomach drop when I hugged my mother when they left.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, those are the things that I was never warned about.
Yeah.
It was, you know, go to school, stay gone for 4 years, and everything will be all right, you know, and nobody said, you know what, you're going to be a little homesick.
Yeah.
You know, but this is how you get through it. So, you know, the way I saw it, Youngstown State was Cleveland State. They just had a football team.
Oh, okay.
So I came home and I transferred to Cleveland State, and that is what allowed me to volunteer coach.
Okay.
So now from there, I end up pretty much following in Ginn's footsteps because this is the same thing he did after he graduated from Glenville.
Tell me, when you started coaching there, now Ted Ginn Sr., you said that was your godfather, so you already had a relationship with him.
Yes, definitely, since birth.
What did you think of his coaching acumen?
I knew where he was going and why he was going there.
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean? Where was he going?
Well, he was going to put this city on the map. He was going to put Glenville on the map. And most of that came from the idea that, as he would always say, I got the blueprint. I know what to do. I know how to do it. And then he would always tell guys like Donte, Pierre being the first one to leave Glenville and go to University of Michigan, y'all are better than these guys that y'all see in the magazine. You know, letting these guys know that they're just as good, but as a matter of fact, you're better. You just didn't have the promotion. You just didn't have the foundation that, you know, suburban schools had around the country, Catholic schools had around the country. So in that first year, he took Donte, Ted, Troy, Pierre, rented a car, rented a van, and drove across the country. And in the name of the game in football is getting to these camps. You got to get to these college camps to showcase your talent. And so Ted at this time was younger. Pierre was the face of the program. Troy was just coming in from St. Ed's. And Donte was the sleeper. Nobody knew about him, you know. Nobody knew how
devious he was
Exactly.
in the defensive backfield.
Exactly. And
Knocking dudes out.
For sure. And Donte is my cousin.
That's your cousin, your blood cousin.
Exactly my mother's brother's son.
Your mother's, that's your blood. That's
Yeah.
cousin. Hey, cuz,
Right.
what's up, cuz?
So I definitely watched him go to weightlifting.
Hey, let me say something real quick, BoBo. I was so happy when the Browns brought Donte on,
right.
but I was so pissed off when they let him go the next year.
Yeah, well,
like, how do you do that?
Well, he was
And he wanted to play for the Browns.
for sure, but I guess in NFL terms, he was considered to be an older guy.
Yeah.
You know,
And
even
they
when
didn't want
we
to pay him like he wanted.
right. But then if you look at Ted right now, Ted is playing for the Bears right now, and I believe he's in his 14th year. That's an extreme blessing.
Yeah.
Nobody plays for 14 years, but it all comes from going back to how we got here. Senior knowing the plan, knowing the blueprint. And he would always basically say, if you just listen to what I'm saying, I'll get you where you're supposed to be.
What was Coach Ginn extremely tough on his coaches, you all, because he knew he had the talent. He knew he had the young men that can take themselves to the next level with you all guidance. So I know he had to be in you all ear to make sure his message.
He wasn't tough at all.
No, okay.
What he was is, or still is, he's an individual coach's advisor. So what that means is he's going to coach the coaches to coach the players. And so a lot of times that ends up putting him in a position where he kind of hands off. because he wants to coach to earn his keep. If I'm coaching the quarterbacks and I don't have a relationship with the quarterback, then I'm pointless. Yeah. You know, there were times where, especially when I coached T.O., Terrence Owens, lefty, who ended up, he's over in Germany right now, I think. He called me to get the T.O. There was times when T.O.'s mother couldn't find him. She called me, and I better go find him. But that was what he was preaching. Now, consequently, the coaches who began to be the mentors for the players, that became the blueprint for Ginn Academy.
Okay.
So now what you have to understand, in one single year, there were 21 young men who all went to Division I schools. That was back
21 young men.
21.
Ah!
So now that was back when Dr. Sanders was the CEO, superintendent, and he had to listen. And so, you know, as always, when you get a chance to say something, have something to say, Ginn had the blueprint already. So he said, I'm going to take these men, mentors, I'm going to call them youth support. At Ginn Academy, we either call them youth support or we call them life coaches. They're responsible for one homeroom. And this is not going on anywhere else in the country. So let me preface by saying this is the only free African-American all-male school. So let's start there.
Free.
Huh? So now, the youth support, the day you come in, they're now connected to you, whether it be 15 or 20, whoever is in that.
This is former alumni.
No, not necessarily. It turns out that way. And we'll say that because who better to lead young men who are in the building than young men who came through the building?
Right. Okay.
But we don't discriminate.
Okay.
If your character is right, we looking for you.
Okay.
And so what happens is when you come in the 9th grade, your youth support is not with you for the rest of your life. So they go to class with them. They don't assist the teachers. They assist the students. So it won't be, watch the class, I got to run to the bathroom, or can you go run some copies for me? That's not what they're there for. They're there to make sure that the young men are in uniform, that they have their homework, that they got something to eat. You know, when we talk about guys like DJ or this young man that just got killed a couple weeks ago, Tazon Greenwood, this is deep pain because we're not just teaching them. We're walking with them. There was a story of a young man who got to his senior year, and on Wednesday, he lost his mother. On Friday, he lost his father. So who do you think is the first person he called? His youth support. Yeah. So now the youth support becomes the connection. So to review what I'm saying, what he did at Glenville and what he's doing at Glenville High School is the direct blueprint for Ginn Academy.
Okay, yeah.
But now we have to get into the idea that Ginn Academy is not just an athletic school.
It's not just an athletic school. What else does it entail?
There's so many things going on outside of college prep classes. You know, that's first and foremost, we deal with trying to get the young man to college if he wants to go. But let's just take Tazon Greenwood. I just had him as a senior in senior seminar. And one of the first assignments was an essay that pretty much tells me why you want to go to college. Tazon said, well, I don't want to go to college. I said, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of us young men out there that feel like that. They're tired of school. Right. They've been through 12 years of school. They don't want to even see another textbook right about now.
Exactly. But here's the thing. He wasn't just saying that. He had a plan. So through the Ginn Academy, he was in a program that allowed him to work as a junior at Lincoln Electric. And so every Wednesday, these young men go to Lincoln Electric for work. Over the break, they work. As they graduate in the summer of their senior year, they're offered a job. Tazon said, I'm going to Lincoln Electric. So he was just waiting on all that paperwork to come through when he got killed. He had his plan. You know, we also have, outside of Lincoln Electric, we have ties with construction companies. We have connection with the OTCO program, which is connected. So
you're getting these young men in the building, you're coaching them up as far as how to be young men,
right?
How to raise their academia up, and then you prepare them to have a future by leading them to opportunities in the workforce.
For sure. For sure. Again.
How real is that? If you're going to go somewhere, that'll be a great place to want to consider going.
Right.
Because they're going to have some people walk with you on a path to lead you in the right direction.
For sure. You know, we're in the process now of doing this. He's building a studio.
Okay.
Recording studio. We got young men, so many young men at the school make beats. They rhyme. And we need a place for them to put that energy, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's establishing those types of things. Ginn Academy was supposed to be, and still is, even though we have some constraints, it's supposed to be a school that is outside the box.
I'm right here with Coach Darrell Bolden, right here, affectionately known as Coach BoBo from the Ginn Academy.
Yeah.
Now, Coach BoBo, what I want to know, because it's the Ginn Academy is synonymous with Glenville High School in your experience. So that's why I always keep going back to that.
Gotcha.
And being storied as it is, producing guys that went not only to college and played in the collegiate ranks, but also in the NFL. NFL players.
Yep.
So with that kind of energy and that kind of light, Glenville known for producing players that go to the NFL. Are these guys, are the players in the NFL, not just the ones that played for Glenville, they're friends that's in the NBA. It's camaraderie in the NFL. Do they come and support the academy? You guys, do they offer any kind of support, whether it's monetarily, whether it's coming down, signing autographs, whether it's being in the mix? Does this happen?
Definitely. As I said before.
And if it does, can you name, if you are at liberty to name anybody
Sure.
and what have happened?
For sure. Pierre Woods, like I said, he was the first one. Graduated from
Played for New England.
Right.
Powerhouse.
He was on this 16-0 team that unfortunately lost the Super Bowl. But, he not only, once he retired.
Did he call you up real quick? Did he call you up after the Super Bowl? Did he call anybody from the crew?
He probably called Ginn. I'm sure he called Ginn.
He called Ginn.
Ginn is going to have his hand in it no matter what. He's going to guide you, no matter what. And more times than not, he's with you.
Did that make you proud to see Pierre out on that field in Foxborough?
For sure. Well, here's the thing. Pierre was at my house yesterday.
Hey, Pierre is a good guy. He be liking our stuff. Big shout out to Pierre. Hey, Pierre, I was a fan of yours when you played in the NFL. I'm still a friend of yours now. I appreciate it.
Good guy. Great character. And Pierre, actually, once he retired, he did a stint as a youth support at Ginn Academy.
Okay.
Not necessarily because he needed it.
So he came back and helped.
For sure. And every time he comes in, he's got my class. Whether he wants to talk or not, whatever we're doing, especially if I got freshmen. I teach freshmen and seniors. But when he comes in, I have freshmen, the floor is his. And a lot of times he just comes in and sits down, but he adds as he's one of the students, know. So his son actually graduated from the Ginn Academy.
Okay. Pierre's son.
Yeah, PJ, Pierre Jr. He's now in the Army. So that kind of thing. Once the season is over, Ted is going to be running down the hallway. Ted is a big kid. He's going to be running down the hallway with the latest tennis shoes on or something like that. But it's all in a movement to aspire these young men to do great things.
Yeah.
He brings his son. Ted has a son. Well, he has twins, a boy and a girl, and then he has a third daughter. And they're at the school. When they come
They're
from
students?
No, they're little kids.
Okay.
But when they come, after the season is over, they come in and visit Pawpaw, and they understand that this is our legacy. This is a part of what we do.
Wow.
So, these guys are Justin Hardy. Justin Hardy, number 34 for New Orleans. New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
He will tell you he's the guy that.
You said Hardy, I was thinking of Greg Hardy for a minute. Justin Hardy.
Justin Hardy.
Okay.
Grew up right here on Tuscarora.
Okay.
He'll tell you, I'm the guy that wasn't supposed to make it. Nobody thought I was going to make it. And honestly, he probably didn't even think he was going to make it. But he never gave up. Was cut from the cut from the Texans. And I think
their loss.
Right, because I think like a week later, the Saints picked him up. And I believe he's going on like his third or fourth year. He just opened up a Papa John's down in New Orleans. So it's nothing to see him at the table talking again, or where we have morning session. So he's coming to talk to the kids. Morning session is where you can express whatever you need to the whole school.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Marshawn Lattimore is another one. See, what was so funny is before Ted got traded, you had Marshawn, Ted, and you had Justin. So you had Ted on offense, Marshawn on defense as one of the best corners in the NFL, and then you had Justin doing all special teams. Both Justin and Marshawn did camps last year. Marshawn did his right at the
giving back in the hood.
That's correct. Marshawn did his right at Patrick Henry Field, Bump Taylor Field, and his was just a play day. You know, he was like, it's time to not drill all the time. Let's just have some fun. Justin gave his at Case Western Reserve.
Wow.
And then they brought all of their classmates in to run the camp. Frank, of course, Frank just won the Super Bowl. Frank Clark.
Huh?
And
so Frank helps you guys?
Frank gave a camp last year. So if you think about it,
Frank Clark, and he sold out in the Super Bowl too.
Right. So you had 3 camps going on, and then you got the guys from good to great, Cordell Scott and I'm drawing a blank, Travis Freeman. These guys are doing not just sports, but they're also developing young minds. So they're always around.
Yeah.
You got the Ginn Elite.
Yeah.
Which is coached by Travis and Cardell and Rasul Spain and guys that came through the program. And so they're now walking young guys.
Do we wish that more people will reach out?
For sure. You know, we never have enough people.
Yeah.
Because we still losing kids.
Yeah.
You know, but then you think about it like this, just as I said, everybody's not going to college. Everybody don't want to play football.
Yeah.
You know, somebody might want to play basketball. Somebody might not want to do either of those sports.
Yeah.
So now you have to be so motivated to touch a kid that may not have any other interest that you have. Yeah. But you got to figure out. When I was learning to teach, the number one rule is know your demographic. So I need to know where you're from. I need to know what you're all about. I need to know, hey, your mom might be sick. You might live with grandma. I need to know all these things before I can tell you what A squared plus B squared equals, you know. Yeah. So all of these things come about as you're in the midst of it. But then when you talk about the greatness of Glenville / Ginn Academy, and I want you to understand, Ginn Academy, though the blueprint was from the football team, we have the traditions of the old Glenville.
Okay.
So we have Senior Honor Day where we give out scholarships to young men who display some type of characteristic that we admire. You know, I have a company called RealVilleish.
I wanted to get in there. That's a clothing line, right?
Right. RealVilleish is more so hats, T-shirts, hoodies, so on and so forth. It's honoring all authentic experiences that a tar blooder would have experienced. You know, knowing that there's a bridge that connects the school to the rec. Remembering that Bump Taylor used to be Patrick Henry Field and it was grass. You know, these are the types of things that, you know.
What about the pipeline? Do you have anything to express the significance of players going to Glenville then ending up in the NFL?
Not yet.
Do you plan on expressing that dynamic because it was a real thing?
I haven't thought about that. You know,
let's put some pressure on Coach BoBo and RealVilleish,
right?
Because that did happen. You know, Pierre and them, Donte, the real hitters.
Definitely. But like I said, to get back to what I was saying, from RealVilleish, we give a scholarship to one student at Ginn Academy and one student at Glenville.
Okay.
So, as I said, the alumni. And we have a group, the archives, the Glenville Alumni Archives. I think it might be 5.6 thousand in that group throughout the country. And we might have some people throughout the world. And all of that, the RealVilleish was developed to celebrate who we are.
RealVilleish?
RealVilleish. Kind of like
RealVilleish, yeah.
You know, and like I said, it's an adjective that describes all things that are authentic.
Now, how long that's been up and running and going?
For about a year or two now.
If somebody want to patronize that business, where could they patronize?
My website is www.realvilleish.com. There's a donation.
What all kind of apparel do you got?
Well, I only do, because I don't have a store, I do stuff like twice a month. So right now we're doing T-shirts and caps. When the fall comes, we'll do hoodies, scullies, so on and so forth. But like I said, they're all pre-order items. So, I give a deadline. You let me know what you want. You pay through the website, or if you see me around, you pay. And then once it comes back, it takes about 2 or 3 weeks after the deadline to come back. But it's some real nice stuff. It's really some things that you can keep for the rest of your life if you.
Oh, that's dope. Now you got the elegant brilliance right there.
This is actually the first day that I've popped this off. And elegant.
We getting treated to the new.
Right. So Elegant Brilliance was established for the upliftment of the culture. It's something that I've been working on for about a year, so that I can still do RealVilleish but do something different. And it's simply what I want our people to actually aspire to be. Elegantly brilliant. I want you to understand that you can be polished, you can be classy, and you can do that with exceptional sagacity that will only allow you to shine brightly. So that's where that all comes from. You can't hide brilliance.
Right.
You can't hide being exceptional. Class is a wonderful thing. Sagacity, that simply means the knowledge and the know-how and the wisdom to make the right decisions.
Okay.
So when I come with Elegant Brilliance, I wanted to not just patronize the Glenville community, but now we can broaden it to the world.
What did Ted Ginn Sr. think of RealVilleish and Elegant Brilliance?
Well, RealVilleish, I think he's probably got just about every hoodie, T-shirt.
Hopping out the Bears with the RealVilleish on, you know what I mean?
And he's particularly partial to the bucket hats and the baseball caps. Matter of fact, he was over the house last Saturday and he had one on. And
I need to get one of them Elegant Brilliance hats right there. I like that.
We could put it together, So, but he's always been supportive. He's got the uncanny knack to see where you're supposed to be. He gives you a vision, and then he helps.
Let me ask you a real question, Coach BoBo, because I'm Coach BoBo. I'm tied in. I've been around the guys. Look, Donte, all y'all, wear my stuff. Are we like that right now, Coach
Well, I
BoBo?
tell you what, Justin and Ted have definitely been great supporters.
Is that right?
Yeah. Pierre.
Wearing your stuff?
Yes.
Real deal stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Real G's do real things.
Right. So it's definitely some pictures out there with Ted with his bucket hat on with the old tar blooder. Justin has a baseball shirt, personalized baseball shirt, and Pierre has a T-shirt and a hoodie. So I'm sure that I have their back and they have mine.
What does your wife think of your whole thing, man? Your whole career, how you went about it, how you're still going about it, and how you're doing it. Like, what is some of the things she's communicating to you? Because she's sticking with you.
See, the thing about my wife is she's a tar blooder.
Oh, okay.
So it's some things that I just don't have to explain, And when I was coaching, I would hear other guys say, "Man, well, my wife complaining, I'm at practice too long." My wife wasn't complaining. Sometimes my wife would come to the practice, So her being a tar blooder, a 4-year varsity cheerleader, her mom was the cheerleader advisor. We were born and bred in the hallways of Glenville High School. So it's understood that what I'm doing is essential.
She's helping you with the clothing brands too?
She is the foundation, the backbone.
So
give
me a secret. Give me a clue to your success with your wife that kept you all together in business, kept you all together in love, and doing what you need to do as a loving couple. Give us some clues. Give us something that can help us out and take us to that level.
God.
Okay. Well, Coach BoBo, I'm in the streets. I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm in the streets.
Get to know him.
Get to know 'em.
Get to know them. And, you know, I was just talking to my daughter. My daughter is another T-shirt owner. She has a T-shirt company called Define, which is
Your daughter does. How old is she?
My daughter just graduated from Alabama State.
Ha!
So let me back up and give them some credit, because they're another reason why we have Elegant Brilliance, because they all graduated. All of us graduated from Cleveland schools. My oldest daughter, Danielle, she graduated from John Hay. She just graduated from Cleveland State a year ago, and now she's in a master's program to be a teacher at Ursuline.
Okay.
All while just having a baby in November.
Tell the truth, Coach BoBo.
So now she's doing Zoom classes, and we're passing the baby around the house.
Elegant Brilliance,
Right.
baby. Elegant Brilliance.
And so my middle daughter is Danae
Okay.
Bolden. She just graduated from Alabama State with a major in opera. Which, hey, 105 in St. Clair, what are you doing being an opera singer? Well, she went to Cleveland School of Arts, and Dr. Woods turned her into one of the best singers that I've ever heard. I might be
Well,
biased.
I need to hear it. We had an opera singer on, Clarence Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember him, Miles? Yeah, that was the first and only time we had an opera singer on. He was black out, and he was tremendous.
Right. Well, I almost brought her today, but I thought this was 9 in the morning, not 9 at night. So
Well, we had to bring her on another time.
But like I said, she has a T-shirt company called Define, which is based off of Jeremiah 29:11.
Which is a scripture meaning what?
The scripture says, "For I know the plans that I have for you. They are plans to prosper you and not to harm you. They are plans to give you hope and a future." So her whole point is, before you were even born, you were defined. God already knew what you were going to be, and so it's up to you to fulfill your full potential.
Okay, I can get with that. Define.
And then I would be remiss if I don't talk about the younger Bolden, Devin. And Devin is now a senior at Alabama State. And she's going into the medical field, and probably one of the most intellectual people I've ever met.
She's going to be a doctor?
Yeah, physical training. Mathematically inclined, loves science, but can run the whole gamut, you know. So, again, we raised these 3 brilliant young women on Pierpont over 105 in St. Clair.
It can be done.
It can be done.
That's what Coach BoBo is saying. It can be done. Right. Well, you know, we appreciate you, Coach BoBo. And, again, if somebody want to patronize your brands and get the Brilliant Elegance or the RealVilleish apparel, how can they contact you and reach you?
Right now with Elegant Brilliance, we have an Instagram page. It's elegant.brilliance. And when you get there, you'll see D. Bolden, so you'll know it's me. You can also, if you're interested in Elegant Brilliance, you can go through my Facebook page, Darrell Bolden, DarrellBolden. DM me, message me. We're in the process of setting the website up for Elegant Brilliance. RealVilleish, the website is already established. And once again, that's www.realvilleish.com, RealVilleish.com. There you can see the history of Glenville. You can see what we're all about. Like I said, if you want to donate to the scholarship, you can. And what I do is I put something on there every 2 weeks, twice a month, and you can buy from there. Again, knowing that it'll take about 2 or 3 weeks for everything to return to you.
Now I know you got to go real quick, Darrell. Speak to the young man that's at the fork of the road. He's eligible to be at the academy, and he just needs a push in the right direction. And they're gonna see this. They're gonna respect the culture of Glenville. They're going to respect you being a part of it. They're going to respect everything about your brothers and your brethren at the academy and at Glenville. So right now, you have their attention. Give them something to hang their hats on.
Ginn Academy is the establishing of a brotherhood. When you walk through the doors, you're going to be loved. Understanding that love sometimes hurts. Sometimes we have to teach the unwilling. Sometimes we have to pull some people across the stage. And what that means is we show you tough love. We give you brotherly, fatherly discipline. But it pays off in the end. If you can make it at Ginn Academy, the whole world is at your feet. You know, it's nothing to see major colleges walking through the hallway, of course, for football, you know, but also because of the connections that Ted Ginn Sr. has. And he's always saying, I got the connection, use me.
Right.
You know, so he's got his hand in all different types of things educationally as well as athletically. And Ginn Academy is a wonderful place to be. The education process is ugly. I need people to understand that. There are no happily ever afters. We're going to have to take some things and make them work.
Yeah.
But with that being said, what better place to be than somewhere with people who know how to take lemons and make lemonade?
Real talk. Hey, thank you, Darrell. I appreciate you coming
Thanks
on
for having
board.
me. I appreciate
You know,
it.
I want to thank everybody over at the Ginn Academy for doing such a great job. Keep up the great work. Ted Ginn Sr., you know, we remember when we had you on. Keep up the great work. Thank you for allowing, you know, Darrell to come on and express what you all doing over at the school. To the students out there at the academy, keep doing a great job. And if anybody out there need a little help, need a little push, get with guys like Darrell Bolden and Coach Ted Ginn Sr. and the great guys over there at the academy. And let's see if we can change your life. Player T, that's me, Hollywood.